And joining us to tackle this important topic is Dr. Amany Soliman, Director of the Mediterranean Studies Institute at Alexandria University. Dr. Soliman, a very warm welcome to the program, and it's a pleasure to have you with us today on the show. Galant.
The pleasure is all mine.
Thank you very much. Galant described the October 7th attack as a complete surprise. How did Israeli intelligence fail to anticipate such a large-scale assault?
Well, it's the usual Israeli arrogance because, the Jericho Wall document has been in the possession of the Israeli intelligence for a full year prior to the attacks. And everyone said that it was like an underestimate of the capabilities of Hamas. 40 pages detailed document said that an attack is going to happen, and it's not just rockets or missiles. It's going to be inside Israel, breaking through the fence between Gaza and Israel. And everyone thought it to be very dreamy or imaginary, and Hamas was not capable of achieving such a huge plan. And a reassessment happened like 3 months before the October 7th attack, and they again said that it's impossible for Hamas to achieve such goals, and it's just something that they have sketched, but they cannot really implement.
Doctor, do you underestimate today, as we talk, Hamas's capabilities?
Yes, because the larger scale of the operation, they thought that Hamas was not capable of achieving it, and they said that all militias and armies around the world just put plans and strategies, and they just really carry on with like 10% of them. So the Israelis, and it's not their first failure. They have experienced failures before. Let's forget October 1973.
Okay, you did not get my question. My question was...
They thought that, yeah.
Oh, today, as we talk, Dr. Amany, do you underestimate Hamas? Do you think it's weaker than it used to be?
No, I don't. I don't.
You don't underestimate Hamas?
Well, on some leadership levels, there are challenges, but I think that now with the population getting back to Gaza, they can rearrange lines, and they can reform their lines among civilians. It's easier for them to do this with the civilians around.
Okay, he also revealed that he was left out of
whatever they're facing on the level of leadership.
Okay, he also revealed that he was left out of key overnight discussions before the attack. Of course, I'm referring now to Yoav Gallant and his statements. What does this say about Israel's decision-making process in times of crisis?
Well, it says a lot, not just in terms of decision making, but also about the ideological rift in the Israeli coalition itself. It's a government of a coalition, and there are deep logical differences between many of the cabinet ministers, and it's clear that even with such a mass crisis, they couldn't really have trust in each other. And it's not the first time that Gallant do so, and we have seen him since maybe April or May on X or Twitter criticizing Netanyahu. We have seen many of them accusing each other of failure or of ignorance, and it really says something about the mistrust between the members of Netanyahu's government.
Gallant claimed that political hesitation prevented Israel from launching a major strike on Hezbollah. Could this hesitation be a sign of deeper internal divisions within Israel's leadership?
Yes, of course, because major attacks are determined by politicians, not by militants, even if he is the Minister of Defense. And he already criticized Netanyahu for his Hezbollah and with Iran before, and Netanyahu replied publicly that he doesn't he didn't at the time that it was right to on his decision. Gallant insisted that all attacks should have started simultaneously in October 2023.
Okay, his statement suggests Netanyahu was initially hesitant and pessimistic about the war. How could this impact Netanyahu's political standing moving forward?
Well, the Israeli public opinion is not happy, especially part of bringing back the hostages home. And Gallant just certainty and more questions about the capabilities of Netanyahu on negotiating political settlement from now on, even for the fate of the rest of the hostages. Gallant is someone whose words to be trusted for by the Israelis because he was in the operation room from day one. So for them, he's someone who didn't have trust in the man leading the government. And this is very dangerous for Netanyahu's views in the eyes of the Israeli citizen.
Okay, Gallant has called for a full-scale investigation into Israelis' war failures. Do you think this could lead to political consequences or even early elections?
Yes, of course, especially if Netanyahu was found insufficient to the position he is in, if he was proven to be mistaken with many of the decisions he has taken through 15 months of fighting on several fronts, it would lead to an early elections, or it would lead to the collapse of the coalition, especially if Smotrich and his party withdrew from the coalition, which Smotrich said he would do if Netanyahu did not restart attacks on Gaza again and end Hamas before after March, when the truce is over, the 42 days are over.
Okay, looking ahead, Dr. Amany, does this public criticism signal a larger shift in Israel's political and military strategy, or will Netanyahu's government continue to dominate?
Well, the problem is, even with this fragile coalition and with this big crack in how Netanyahu looks to the Israelis, there is no alternative or a face that the Israelis can rely on. There is no really bright figure in the opposition that the Israelis would put in place of Netanyahu. So my assumption is that, as you said, a larger investigation with these accusations from Gallant will put the Israeli citizens in more and more uncertainty. But nothing would be clear before March, when the truce is over and the fate of the hostages is far clear.
Are you
However, we cannot
optimistic
deny.
about the truce and the hostages?
No, not really. And I don't think that it would last until the end of it, until March. I think
Okay, how do
something
you,
is
to wrap up
going
this
to
segment, Dr.
interrupt it
Amany,
earlier.
how do you, in 2 sentences, please, how do you read Israeli public criticism towards Netanyahu and, of course, the huge, of course, internal division in his own cabinet, looking forward, if we look at the fate of Netanyahu or his destiny or wherever he goes?
Netanyahu is trying to play the card Netanyahu is trying to play the card of the US President Trump support, and he's trying to tell the Israelis that better days are coming. But what is coming on the Israeli channels from the people who used to sit with him in the same room doesn't say so. It really says that his political future maybe will end in 2025.
Let's wait and see. Dr. Amany Soliman, Director of the Mediterranean Studies Institute at Alexandria University. Thank you very much for your insights.